I got me my wine. It's been a long day. Had a little birthday party for the little one. It's birthday party season around here. Don't judge me for drinking this too fast. Believe me, I need it. So we're here to talk all about back to school. Getting into it. It's kind of hard to do that switch over from the summer to school season. So we're going to get right into it. Hey, thank you for joining. And as people come on, you could watch, and you can always go back to the beginning afterwards and pick up whatever you missed. So I am here to talk all about back to school, getting through that tough transition from summer into school season. So we know that it could be a really difficult transition for kids. Summer is more of a lax time, relaxed, chilled. And then we get back into school and we expect our kids to kind of just snap into it. And it could be really difficult on them and on us. So I have a few ideas, a few things that we're going to do that I'm going to share with you to hopefully make that transition a little easier. So just want to engage with you a little about your biggest fear with back to school. It could be maybe the morning craziness, maybe the after school insanity, or maybe just missing your kids when they go to school. What is your biggest fear? Feel free to write it in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. My biggest fear, or I should say challenge or difficult time of the day, is after school. The kids were in school a whole day and they come home and they kind of let loose, and usually their letting loose is chaos. It could be. I try not to make it that way, and I'll tell you what I do to prevent that, but it could be really difficult after school. So let's get right into it. The first thing that I think makes the world of a difference is establishing routines. The kids, they wake up in the morning, and it used to be maybe they went to camp, maybe they didn't go to camp. By us, camp starts a little later than school, and so that extra hour really helped in the morning. So we want to just make sure we have routines set in place to make everything go much smoother, and that way we can anticipate what the day will look like, and also we'll be able to, if anything extra comes up, any surprises, we'll be able to deal with them because things are running as smoothly as they possibly can. Okay, so the best way to establish routines, especially for the morning, is to prepare as much as you can the night before. This is pretty much cardinal. It's with kids, it's with yourself. Even if you don't have kids and you want to, your morning is just crazy, waking up and getting yourself ready and breakfast and lunch and getting off to work. So preparing as much as you can the night before really, really helps in an enormous way. So let's think about ways that you could prepare the night before. You can have lunches packed up for yourself, for your spouse, for your kids. You can have, if you have kids, cereal prepared on the counter with bowls so the kids can help themselves in the morning if they're old enough to do that. Homework should be completed and signed the night before. Definitely should not be something that's done in the morning. That's not going to work. Does not help the morning madness situation. Have backpacks ready to go first thing in the morning, the night before, but that way in the morning they just literally put their lunch inside, grab it, and go. Lay out their clothes the night before. So my kids wear uniforms. I'm so grateful for that. It's one less thing that we have to think about, what should my kid wear, but it's still obviously you have to make sure you have clean laundry And that. So when you lay out your clothes the night before, and let's say you had an extra crazy week and you're off your laundry schedule and things like that, no problem. You're going to lay out your clothes the night before, and you see, hey, my kid is out of uniform shirts. Let me throw in a quick wash. By the morning, it'll all be ready to go. So that's where something like that really helps, and you would benefit from preparing the night before. Any after-school activities, you want to have all that kind of stuff ready in the front of the house with their backpack ready to go. Now, let's say you have a late start one morning, whether you woke up late or, I don't know, I'm sure you can think of some craziness that can just surprise you in the morning that you're not expecting. And you literally have to take breakfast in the car. So just have some things ready. String cheese, have like a supply of things. Maybe you can have like a bag just with dry cereal or a breakfast bar just to grab and go if you need. Okay, now we're still talking about routines. We just spoke about morning routines and how to make our mornings go much more smoothly. Now let's talk about bedtime. It's the end of the summer, and we want to make sure that our kids are going to bed and getting enough sleep so that they can function well in school and do their absolute best. So I recommend gradually moving your child's bedtime, maybe 10 minutes at a time. Summertime, they're maybe up a little later, spending more time up and out. So just moving their bedtime by 10 minutes gradually will make it that they will be able to, by the time school starts, they'll be functioning and back to their regular bedtime. So let's go into planning lunches, just to chat about that for a second. Lunches, like I mentioned before, should be fully prepared the night before. There are people that I know make lunches a week in advance and freeze them. People mostly do that with like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I'm not sure, can you do it with cream cheese? Send me a comment if you think you can do that. That's like a general sandwich that I prepare for my kids. If you can do that, if you can do lunches like that and freeze them a week in advance, that's amazing. That really cuts out a lot of work on a day-to-day basis. But anything that needs to be refrigerated, just pop it in the fridge the night before, the fruit or the vegetable and the sandwich or the protein, whatever it is. And then in the morning, you just quickly put it in the lunchbox, and it's easy to go. And do that for yourself as well. Make a list of lunches with your kids. So get them involved in the process. This way, they're actually gonna eat the lunches that we prepare. We take the time to prepare it. It's a lot of work. So when we prepare it with them and we say, hey guys, give me a list of 3 sandwiches or proteins that you would eat for your lunch, and let's make a list of snacks and fruits and veggies, and that way you have a list. You can rotate it when you want, and that way you know what they're going to eat. Now, of course, we know that that's no guarantee because kids like to surprise us, don't they? So, but just it's a good start. We'll put it that way. I love to use prepackaged snacks. They're not always the healthiest choice, but really I'm just going for, surviving. Surviving, not thriving. Ever heard of that saying? So I go for prepackaged snacks. You can get fruit leathers that are healthy-ish, pretzels, whatever it is that, you find in your local grocery, whatever you like to give for your kids. But I just find that it just makes it that much easier and quicker to prepare lunches. You could also find mini bags of baby carrots and things like that. So really just do what you're comfortable doing, but those are just some suggestions. And I like to get my kids to fill up their water bottles in the morning. Right now, this is how we do it. I'm actually looking into I want to get my kids into making their own lunches, at least their snacks for now, and we'll work on the the mains maybe a little later. But that's just something, I want them to be more independent. I want them to be able to do more and, be more independent without me doing everything for them. So when I pick up my kids from school, one of the first things they say to me is, after I say, hey guys, how was school today? I get, what's for dinner? Does that happen to you? Because that's literally like every single day. And I would even like not everyone likes the same dinner in my house. So I would like not want to tell them what was for dinner because I didn't want them to be disappointed if it wasn't the dinner that they liked. And oh my goodness, it was getting a little out of hand. So I decided to make a dinner schedule. Every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday, we make the same thing. So that made it so much easier for me because they knew what was for dinner. They might still ask me, but when I give them the response of what I'm making for dinner, it's not a surprise because they know it already. So it's not like, oh man, I thought it was going to be something else. But it's not, because they know what it is, so that I don't get like that disappointment from them. And it just makes it so much easier. So just, we want it with organizing. We want to try to, there's so many systems that people have used that have been around for so long. So we just want to you don't have to work harder being organized. If anything, it's like really finding the easy way out. Like, what can I do to make it easier for myself? Like, that's really what this is all about. So when we're planning a menu for dinners and stuff, I like to plan a menu for the week. Like I told you, I already know what I make because I literally make the same thing every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, every Monday is the same thing. Every Tuesday is the same thing. And that way I end up going shopping once a week. Throughout the week, if I run out of something, then I have a, what's it called? Just like a shopping list that I have hanging around, and I just jot things down as I run out of them, so I know when it comes time to go shopping, I'm going to buy that thing that I need. So I always make sure I'm stocked with my basic essentials because these are things that I'm using all the time, and when I need it, I don't want to be out of it. There are also, I like to write things down on my lists. There are plenty of apps out there. If anyone has any suggestions, feel free to jot it down and share it with us because we can always learn from each other, right? So I know there's Google Keep. I like to use that as an app for lists, not for food or shopping, but for other kind of lists. But there are people that I've heard that like that as well for their shopping lists. You can share it easily with your spouse and even check off things that you buy. So sounds like it comes in handy. Okay, let's see. What is the next thing we're going to be talking about? Time management. So when you get your school calendar, make sure to jot down all your vacation days, all school events in your calendar at the beginning of the year. This way you have it, and it won't come as a surprise to you later on. So if you have a planner, I use a planner. Like I said before, I'm kind of old school. I like to write things down and use a planner, use an app on your phone, whatever kind of calendar you use, but just make sure to jot it down. Okay, we're getting into some serious stuff over here. Drop zone. What's a drop zone? It's a place where you drop everything when you come into your house. So if you have a garage, and you come in through your garage, then your drop zone might be right by your garage, or it might be in the entrance of your house. So for different people, different homes, it's going to be different things. So if you have a functional drop zone for your children, then it's going to make it so much nicer so that when you walk into your house, you're not like, help, all this backpacks are here and what am I going to do? Such a mess. But if you have a place, then it's not going to be such a mess, right? So what I like to have is 2 hooks for each child, one for their backpack, one for a sweater or a jacket, depending on, what climate you live in, and a little basket underneath for their shoes, So everyone's homes are different, right? So you might have an open space with cubbies. You might have a closet that you could close the door. It might be more of a room, like a laundry room that you walk into, or a mud room that you have specifically for that. So that really, really helps with giving your kids a space to put their things. Because if they don't have a space and you want them to clean up and put their things away, where are they supposed to put them, right? So we want to set our kids up for success. We want to show them that they can do it and they are capable. When I get into when we come home from school, like rule number 1 is we wash our hands and we unpack our stuff from school. Those are like the first 2 things we do right when we walk in. So just training your kids to like get into good habits. I shouldn't say training. It sounds like, we're running a boot camp or something. But just getting our kids into good habits really sets them up for success. Because when they start when they're young, then they're going to be doing it when they're older. And they just get into that routine. So coming into the house, bringing in their lunch and their water into the kitchen, hanging up their backpack, first thing. The next thing that can be like super overwhelming that comes into the house is all the incoming paper. It can be, oh my goodness, it just like fills up our counter space. We're like, what do we do with this? It can be notices from school. It can be artwork, crafts, projects, so many things. I'm sure you guys each have a list from A to Z. So when we bring these things in, we need to have a place to put it all. So just like we have a drop zone for backpacks and stuff, we need to have a place for incoming papers. So any kind of crafts that the kids bring home, I have a spot where it's kind of like I take like a piece of twine across my wall, and that's where I display their artwork and their things from school. Now, I don't always keep everything, but that's where it gets displayed for about a week, and depending on when the next artwork comes in. But that's where we keep it. Anything else like, notices or flyers, I look at it, I see if it pertains to me, if it's something I need, maybe I'll hold on to it. If it's something that, like if it's a to-do, let's say the school needs me to fill out a form for something, right? Or they're doing hot lunches. So I'll ask my kids, what do you guys want for hot lunches? Check it off, give them the money, put it in their backpacks. Let's say it's just a notice from school that doesn't really pertain to me. I'll just recycle it. So easy, done with, we put it away. For any other like things that come in and it's, we have paper that we need to work on and we still have to deal with it. So what I like to do is to have a paper sorter and just label different sections for different things. So like, and we could use this for incoming mail as well. So let's say something that needs to be done, so we need a to-do section or to file section. Things like that, like see what it is that's coming in and see how you need to sort it. So we spoke about what happens when crafts come into the house, but what's our long-term solution for that, right? We need to be able to store things away long-term. So I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to show you what I do. 1 second. I'm not sure why. Oh, there we go. Okay. So here we have a school memory box. This is my daughter's. And this is just like a regular size file box. And this is what I want to have. The only box that I have of her stuff from preschool through 12th grade. So this is totally possible, just in case you're wondering. I'm going to open this up and show you how we do this. Okay, so I'm just going to pull this forward a second. Okay, looks like some of it fell down, so I'm not going to fix it right now. But basically, you see how like I have these hanging files, and I have labels and folders. So we have 2s, 3s, 4s, all through 4th grade. My daughter is in 5th grade this year, so I'll be adding another folder. One of the parts fell down, so that's why it's kind of stuck there, and I'll pick it up. But these can all be squished together, and there's plenty of room. So just putting in like little things that I want to keep from year to year. Just, you want to keep the things that your kid is going to want when they turn 25 and they're out of your house, or 30, whatever it is, when they're out and they're gone and you want to hand over your stuff to them, their stuff to them. They don't want 5 boxes of things. They don't want 10 boxes of things. Maybe 1 box. That will be something manageable, and it'll be something cute and nice. If there's things that are like relevant to you that you're like, oh, this is a memory for me that I want to keep of my kid in school, then okay, then you're going to want it. Maybe you want to keep that in your own memory box, but don't keep that in your kid's memory box if it's not going to be special to them when they're older. So moving right along, so when you get school pictures, choose one size that's going to be your go-to, and every year you can add it in the front of their picture and in the frame that, you know, fits that size. And then whenever they're done their schooling, they're going to have a whole bunch of, like, a frame of all of their school photos. Isn't that sweet? I saw that another organizer did that for her kids, and I thought that was a really good idea. We are on our last section for tonight, and that is homework. A really big part of, you know, kids going to school, especially as they get older, is homework. So it's really important to have a homework station, which is basically just means the place where they do their homework, right? So maybe they have a desk in their room and that's where they do their homework. Maybe they do it at the kitchen table or the dining room table. Wherever it is that they do it, just make sure that it's a place where it makes sense for them, that they want to do it, that they're comfortable doing it there, and also that they have all the supplies that they need. So something that I like to do is I have my kitchen table is also our homework station. And so I have something called a homework caddy. I'm going to show you what it looks like. Let me just flip it around a sec. Okay, this is our homework caddy. Cute acrylic caddy, has pens and pencils, scissors and glue, and markers, and our time timer. I'll talk a little bit about the time timer more in a second, but just to show you that we have all our essentials here. I keep this in our garage, which is very close to the kitchen, and it's just really easy to bring it. I tell one of my kids, can you go get the homework caddy? And then they bring it to the table, and now the table is transformed into the homework station. So it's just super easy. We have everything we need right there. So let me talk to you about this time timer. It's been pretty amazing, transformational for me and my family, and maybe it can be for yours. So basically, a time timer is not a traditional timer. It's a timer for children, or maybe a child with autism or ADD, or people that just like need a little bit more visual assistance. Basically, you want to see, you tell your kid, let's see how much you can do, how much toys you could clean up in 10 minutes, okay? So you put it to the 10 minutes, and you can actually, they can watch the time going by. The red starts to shrink as the minutes go away, right? So that's pretty cool for kids, because usually you say 10 minutes and they have no idea what 10 minutes is. Or even if you put a timer on your oven or on your phone, they still can't see the minutes go by. So this really gives them like the right visual aid that they need to get their tasks done in a timely manner. So why do I have it here with my homework? Because let's say homework can sometimes take a really long time, but we don't want it to. Our kids have been sitting in school all day, and it's just not fair to them to be doing too much homework. So I tell my kids based on their age, or if I see homework is starting to take a while, I say, okay, you have 5 more minutes left. Excuse me. Or you have 10 minutes to do all your homework today. So whatever it is, that's the amount of time that, they see the time passing by, right? And then I guess I shut the timer off, but it does beep at the end. I've also used it for like shower time for my kids that need it. Like if showers tend to take a while, then I use that as well for them. Hey, I'm back. So let's see if we covered everything. And then, you know, of course, as soon as homework is completed, we make sure it's signed and put back in the backpack. Now, my 2 older kids that are doing homework consistently are 8 and 10. And I tell them it's your responsibility to bring your homework to me if your homework needs to be signed, because, again, it's their responsibility. Some of it has to be on them. So this is just teaching them that they have to know what needs to be done, and they bring it to me to get signed, and they put it away in the right place. And that is all that I am going to share with you tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a while since I did this, and I'm glad to be back. And I think we're going to try for, to do this every other week, different topics. I can share organizational tips with you. If you have any ideas or suggestions of what you want me to speak about, please send me a DM, let me know, and I'd be happy to speak about it. Okay, we'll see ya. Have a good night.